Welcome to the Capital City Classic. It is VCU and Richmond, a big-time rivalry. Your starting lineups presented by Sonic. Everyone on your screen for the Richmond Spiders averages double figures. Jacob Gilliard is the nation's leader in steals on the defensive side. So, Steve, he steals a little bit of thunder from Havoc. That's the defensive system that has been run for so long under Mike Rhodes, Shaka Smart before him with the VCU Rams.
He should have been playing for VCU with that defensive prowess on the perimeter.
I'm sure there are many times that Mike Rhodes has looked across the court and hoped maybe Jacob Gilliard would just play for me instead. Like, that would be easier than having to deal with him night in, night out. Grant Golden will go for the jump against Hassan Ward. And Ward wins VCU on the opening possession.
This is a guy who's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Ace Baldwin, he's a freshman. Don't let that fool you. He is a very, very polished point guard.
That's Baldwin, one in white at the bottom of your screen. He averages 5 assists a game compared to only 2 steals. Shot clock is already down to 5. Here's Vince Williams on the drive. Little strong, and the rebound down to Grant Golden for Richmond.
With VCU, when they score, they set up their pressure. They really want to get in to that Havoc pressure, so because Richmond will walk the ball up court and take their time in the offensive possession.
Nice step in for Gilliard. He's on the board. You can eliminate Havoc, and that really goes for either side. You know, there's a moniker for the way that VCU plays defense, but Richmond is up there in steals as well, 13th nationally. If you score, they can't press the same, they can't press the same way.
Right, and I think that the difference between these two teams is that VCU is very consistently a good defensive team. And I think Richmond is a little bit sporadic.
There's a live ball turnover. Golden misses, though. Good trailing defense by VCU, and Levi Stockard to get back. Richmond still +2. Here's Stockard now on offense, and a nice sequence for the big fella, the transfer from K-State.
And that's a perfect example, Joel, because Mike Rhodes wants to speed it up. He said, I'd rather guard Richmond for 15 seconds instead of the 30 seconds. So if you can really get out in front of them and make them make mistakes, you can get transition offense out of it.
Good ball movement for Burton. Rebound down to Hyland.
See the mismatch, Hyland and Francis right there, because, and that's one way that Richmond's had problems, because the big guards from other teams go over and post up the little guys.
16 seasons for Chris Mooney as the head coach at Richmond. You'll notice the towel over his shoulder as well. Mike Rhodes has one of those. That's to honor the memory of John Thompson, the late Georgetown coach. Passed away in August of 2020. You'll see coaches all across the country doing that this week in conjunction with the National Association of Basketball Coaches.
Chris Mooney's one of the few guys in college basketball that's almost as tall as John Thompson. He's a big fella on that sideline. But John Thompson was imposing when he had that towel on his shoulder when he was coaching in the 80s.
Drive to the bucket. Cato misses long, and Richmond won for its first 4. Good job to get back, though. Set up in the half court. Now it's one-on-one. Stockard and Golden, and an air ball from Levi Stockard.
And you had a good point there, Joel, because Richmond has got to stop that fast break, because, you know, VCU is not great in the half court offensively.
Gilliard just walked out to the three-point line to take the shot. And again, Richmond tries to race back with 3-on-3. Pull the trigger quickly. Baldwin goes underneath, and this time Stockard finishes. Nice find by Ace Baldwin. Richmond trails for the first time as it heads back on offense.
Great look by Baldwin. But you got to have the big guys in there that can get the tough passes and be able to hold on to them.
Spin move Golden to the rim, he missed. I will say the composure of both of these teams, though, early on, as Ward nearly takes one out of bounds and then throws it out of bounds. Don't let that impact what I'm about to say here. The composure's been good.
Well, you'll see Baldwin get in the heart of the defense, and as soon as he sees Francis, you know, go over and guard Williams, look at Francis over there, cuts him off. Then Stockard's able to go straight to the basket, but Francis cut off Williams, and that's where the pass was going to go, but good adjustment by Baldwin.
Stockard checks out. VCU has 3 turnovers. Richmond, 0. They have not been impacted by this pressuring defense by VCU, 6th in the country in steals. Get him into the half court, though, for the first time. Francis, he misses long, and Richmond's just 1 of 6. So VCU has been able to get down and guard them half court, though.
I think they've done a good job of getting out of the three-point shooters. There's 3 scores on Richmond's team that have over 1,400 points. A lot of offense.
Nice move by Ward on the block. Good execution off the pick and roll. VCU +4.
But, you know, when you're playing against VCU, you know, they're always in your face. They're looking at speeding you up. And there's been some long threes and quick shots by Richmond. Just there, that's one right there. That was move the ball around because they're rushing on offense. Well, it's funny, when you ask him, do you do Zoom calls with calisthenics? You know, I don't know what you do. My son was had COVID in Wisconsin. It was in a hotel by himself. They put the food outside the door. I mean, that's no way to live college life.
Corey Douglas with the reverse layup doesn't drop. Bob Bolden, the women's coach at Ohio, said, what is, you know, COVID life in college basketball? You're sitting there eating lukewarm meals in your hotel room. It's about right.
Yeah, and we've talked about it so many times. So these guys are fortunate to play, and they're happy they're out there playing. But so far, they've played like they've had 23 days off. And now they're shooting 13%, 1 of 8 from the field.
Andre Gustafson missed the 3. The drive for VCU doesn't fall. The Rams are just 3 for their first 7. As you alluded to, Richmond just 1 for its first 8. 4 minutes without a bucket. This is Grace in off the bench with the headband.
There's a lot of other things going on in this game, too. This is a crosstown rivalry, and there's nobody there. And it's just a different, it's very small in attendance. And, you know, everybody's excited because it still is a rivalry game. Sometimes you have problems shooting off at the start of the game.
First bucket for KO. Whip that one down. Nice block. Burton with the closeout. Denies Douglas Jr. Gustafson out in transition. Cannot finish. He will go to the free throw line. Richmond trying to find a groove. Vince Williams with his first.
Usually it's VCU starting the fast break with a block. This time it's Richmond. Burton getting up high, and beautiful pass from Gilliard to Gustafson in transition. So Richmond, hey, we're having problems in our half court, which is our bread and butter. Let's start playing like Richmond, get out and run.
Gustafson at the line where he shoots 75%. Gilliard gets so much hype, deservedly so for his defense. Grant Golden checks back in. But underrated passer when you see something like that?
Yeah, and I think that, you know, the first important thing is a lot of those are live ball turnovers. And so when that happens, as soon as they see him get the ball, guys are running out and trying to fill the lanes.
0 for 2 on that trip, again for a 75% free throw shooter in Gustafson. So VCU still maintains a slight lead. 6 minutes in, we have 10 points on the board, and that ball is on the baseline. Turnover for VCU. That's the Rams' 4th. Mike Rhodes usually in a position where his team is causing the turnovers. Was an assistant to Shaka Smart for all those years, part of the Final Four team in 2011.
He got his philosophy from his high school coach, Mickey Hyland. He said, hey, you guard a quarter, half court, or full court, but defense is what's going to get you the championship game, and he's stuck with it his whole career.
It's working this year. Nice cut to the bucket. Gustafson, and a good find by Golden as well. That ball's got to get moving for Richmond. It's how they're successful.
And that's right. And so I think, like we talked about, the hype of this game, not playing for a number of days, they rushed on their offense. And when the ball's not sticking, I mean, this Richmond team, a la the Princeton offense years ago when Chris Mooney played there, very hard to guard.
Ball slips out of bounds. It'll stay here. And we've got a line change for VCU. Jameer Watkins, Levi Stockard, Hassan Ward all check in. Bones Hyland remains on the court. Actually, no, he checked out. So Bones to the bench, their leading scorer, 19 points per game. Steve, he hadn't taken a shot in the first 7 minutes of the game.
Hey, they're not getting many transition opportunities, and right now Richmond is focusing. I mean, this is what Coach Mooney said. He goes, Hyland's an elite scorer. In transition, he's unbelievable. we have to have a focused approach to guarding Hyland. And so far, we'll see. Hyland's now got to play that chess game and figure out how he's going to get the ball and get open.
Richmond hasn't turned it over, just hasn't made shots. 3 for its first 10. That's why we're still tied at 6. Golden going to work against Stocker. Golden, left shoulder, off the window, the tip back, no. VCU able to get out in transition, off a foot. Golden, play on.
Should have lobbed it. There was no way that ball was getting through there.
There's a lob, out to the wing for Burton.
Look at the ball movement.
The amount of passes and the non-amount of turnovers is incredible. Cardessia did step on the sideline. Again, don't let that impact what I just said. But the amount of passing, and they are working on Bones Hyland's leg, the amount of passing that Richmond does for the lack of turnovers that the Spiders have, the discipline of that program is remarkable.
Well, and when we talked to Coach Mooney, he said, I recruit those guys. I expect to have those guys come in. They know what we expect. And, that's the hard part when you had those layoffs, because you don't get that anticipation on the offensive end. The defense suffers, but also the offense and the focus on offense.
Denied the backdoor cut. Now slipped that one into Stockard. Trying to get through a double team. This is Keyshawn Curry rising. Got his own miss? No! Gilliard stepped right in front. He runs with Gustafson and a good strip that will stay here. But tremendous transition defense. It's a Richmond ball when we come back.
Well, Siegel Center, it's a 6-6 tie in a crosstown shootout here. But, when you got a guy like Gilliard running a perfect fast break, watch how he gets out. As soon as Gustafson gets by his man, he gives him the ball. That's a perfect pass. But VCU sprints to recover in defense, and that's why Mike Rhodes calls this havoc. You saw Baldwin get all the way back and stop the break. I mean, that's just really impressive from a defensive standpoint. But I love Gilliard's pass because it should have been a layup.
Mike Rhodes told us the bottom line about what they do at VCU defensively is they need to make you uncomfortable doing what you want to do. And that's great execution on an end out of bounds. KO lays it up, but he had to think twice about it. It's about pressure. It's about making you think twice.
Right. And havoc is a state of mind. If we get turnovers and we push Richmond to shoot more a little bit quickly, hey, that's havoc for us.
Gustafson trying to return the favor. It will stay with VCU. The Rams actually have more turnovers, 6 of them at this juncture. Rams 3 for their first 9 from the field. Bones Hyland still doesn't have a shot. He is not on the court. And we're working on his leg after he checked out earlier in the half. Here's Watkins, the freshman, with the scoop. Rebound, Watkins gets the putback. The freshman of Trenton, New Jersey. He averages 6 a game. It's kind of Bones Hyland and the backup band, and I don't mean that in a pejorative fashion, but they have a ton of guys that average 6 points a game, 5 of them. So who now will step up? Fouled.
That was a really smart play by Watkins getting down there. He missed his first one, quick jump to get it. The other end, Golden is strong. He's had some problems connecting down low, but I'll tell you, he's a big man. He's just got to get above the rim. Do that mic and drill, big guy.
How big is Golden? He's 6'10", 255, but he makes Stockard at 6'8", 245 look small.
And Golden is a fantastic player. I mean, he's over 1,400 points. He's a guy that, can score down low. As you check his numbers out, he's consistent night after night. IQ is very, very high as far as basketball. That's the kind of guy that Chris Mooney's going to recruit.
He's a media mogul, too. Knocks in the second free throw. He hosts his own podcast, Big Guard Podcast, with his brother and Nick Sherrod. They had Luka Garza on a couple of weeks ago. They're trying to take Matt Norlander's job.
I love it.
Richmond has worked its way in front here, 10-8 for a second. Vince Williams with a triple is a 41% shooter, and VCU back up 1.
Well, they're going to need to get some outside shots to go because Richmond playing that man-to-man defense is packing it in. They're going to dare you to shoot that outside jump shot, especially with Hyland on the bench.
Nice kick by KO. Gilliard pays it off, and we go 3 for 3.
Gilliard's not a bad three-point shooter either.
Richmond had started 1 for 7. Spiders, Steve, now 4 of their last 5 shots. Dump it down, jam it. Hassan Ward. That was pretty. We're tied again at 13.
Good ball movement, and it was an excellent pass for Ward to flush it over 2 guys. A little posterizing going on here in the Siegel Center.
Here's Golden. Thought about taking the jump shot. Good closeout by Ward. Dumped down in the trees. Burton comes out of there. 10 seconds to shoot. Gilliard. Corner kick. And the step in works from the short corner. Richmond now 5 of its last 6 from the floor. Chris Mooney talked about it Sunday. There's a whistle on the drive. Said there was a haze coming out of the COVID pause for about the first 5 minutes of the game against Division III St. Mary's. Is there a little bit of a haze again for the first 5 minutes here today? And now we're seeing Richmond come out and be the true Spiders.
I think there's a lot of things going on. I mean, obviously the haze is a real thing, a little rust. Some teams come out really, really strong, like you haven't played golf in 2 years and you par the first hole, but you know, things will settle down. These are 2 very good 8-10 teams, and they're going to be fighting in the 8-10 tournament.
Hyland, that's Watkins on the runner. Missed the jam, and the loose ball rebounded by Richmond. I've never parred a hole, by the way, so that I can't relate to that statement.
Well, I actually had a hole-in-one on the second hole about 35 years ago, and my wife wanted to get it framed, and she framed it. And my brother shot a 77, another 2 buddies, shot 73 and 75, and I had 104. And she framed it, and I was like, no. It's great that I got a hole-in-one. I just don't need you putting my score on that plaque.
Hyland continues to remain on the bench for VCU here. Nice kick behind Gilliard's head. Good one more pass to the corner. That 3 drops down, and Richmond all of a sudden starting to find a little mojo and some moxie. Isaiah Wilson, nice jam by Hassan Ward to answer. But Isaiah Wilson has 5 straight points for Richmond, and he's a guy that doesn't play a ton this year. The freshman from Pittsburgh. He played a ton on Sunday, though. We've got a foul in transition on Ace Baldwin. And Chris Mooney said afterward, kind of with a wry smile, hey, he's got some speed and athleticism. It's served him well, and hopefully it'll serve him well on Wednesday, too. Maybe a little foreshadowing of what could be for the freshman.
Both of these coaches are fun to be around. We spent a lot of time together with them, and I tell you, they know how to coach. And it's a good defense against good offense here this evening on display.
Burton missed. VCU has found an offensive groove as well, 4 for its last 5. It's shooting 50%. Nice spin move, and it's lost out of bounds. That's Mikkel Brown-Jones, the freshman.
Do you know what Richmond does when VCU gets a slip screen? There's always somebody rotating over to help out. I mean, it's a team defensive strategy that Coach Mooney started employing about 2 years ago. And they play man-to-man. They used to play matchup zone all the time. Now they're sticking with the man-to-man. It's doing them well.
There was a great 3-man weave article that said it's not quite Jim Boeheim abandoning the 2-3, but it is notable. Here's a 3 for Watkins. That's long. Good rebounding effort by Brown-Jones. That gets a second look from 3. VCU ties it at 18, and that's Hyland. I think he's healthy.
Well, and I tell you, it's a good step-in 3 because the ball was coming right to him. He already had a shot at the first time and knocked down the one at the top of the key.
How about that swat? Oh, Hassan Ward. We just talked up Isaiah Wilson. Saw a little father-daughter time coming out of the break here at the home of the VCU Rams. 250 capacity crowd today. 250, that is the Virginia government mandate for this building. Steve, that does count, though, as a sellout. So 162 straight here at the Siegel Center.
That is funny. But it would have been sold out. I mean, it would have been sold out here. It would have been sold out at the Roberts Center.
Here's KO on the block. Good finish with the right hand. Both of these teams have found an offensive rhythm after neither had one for the first couple of minutes. We were tied at 6 a quarter of the way through. Gilliard jumped the passing round. That'll stay with VCU.
Yeah, a lot of times you get out, you forget what the coach tells you because you come out of the locker room, and you remember, when you're at the Robbins Center, you're in practice, this is what they tell you. The first 4 or 5 minutes, it looked like forgot everything. They were rushing on offense and really falling into VCU's hands, but they settled down, and they are moving the ball well offensively.
Vince Williams got Burton in the air. First foul on Tyler Burton. It's 5 on Richmond, 3 on VCU. It's been a fairly clean game as far as that's concerned, but Vince Williams to the free throw line. He shoots 80%. VCU shoots 76%.
Tell you, Williams is a big, strong kid. Obviously he can shoot from outside, but he goes and does the dirty work. He can rebound, get you a loose ball.
He has 5 points. He's healthy for the first time. This was the first offseason in his career that he did not have surgery at VCU. Vince Williams is a junior. He's had issues with both labrums in his shoulders, concussion, calf, broken hand. He's like a walking version of the board game Operation. On the block, KO, that's blocked. Brown Jones stuck on his hip. VCU with the transition game. Bounce pass. Brown Jones on the offensive end now. Good find by Hyland.
That was a beautiful play. Hyland had an open jump shot. He waited for the defender to commit, and he got a nice bounce pass for an easy 2. Smart play by Bones Hyland.
His pacing is just incredible. Golden now on the block, goes over the shoulder, rebounded by Hyland.
He's so fluid. I mean, he's like Gumby. He's long, he's on defense, he's hard to get around, but on offense, he just knows the game.
Look at that pass! Unable to finish, but Hassan Ward heading to the free throw line. Just delicious unselfishness from the VCU Rams.
Well, I'm talking about Hyland. Maybe I'm talking about Jones here, but here's Hyland. He watches defensive guy commit, and Grant Golden goes out and leaves it wide open for Brown Jones for the beautiful dish.
My goodness.
Hassan Ward just gets way above the rim, offensively and defensively. He's a rim protector. he's so fit, but he can get up off the ground. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Bones Hyland is Gumby, what is Hassan Ward?
He's 200. He's 210. I mean, 210, and he's as big as he is. 6'8", 210, 6'9", 210. That's crazy.
7'4" wingspan.
Yep.
His team's lead is 3.
Defensive intensity is picked up because VCU's been able to score and put some pressure on full court.
Got a whistle on the perimeter. That was the first touch of the possession for Blake Francis, even as that ball just whips around for Richmond. It's the 4th foul on VCU. And it allows Ace Baldwin to return Corey Douglas as well.
The other thing that VCU's done in the last 5 minutes, they haven't turned the ball over. They had 6 early turnovers. Really, we're not valuing any possession. They've been able to get that under control. And they average about 15 turnovers a game, but still only have 6 with 5:55 remaining.
It's amazing how that works like a light switch sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. And I think a lot of these guys you just saw there with the 2 guys going back and forth, these guys know each other. They play in the summertime. So it's a little bit anxious times when you get out there in a matchup like this. And the first 5 minutes are usually a little bit crazy.
Gilliard missed the shot. They play in the same city. These schools are 6 miles apart.
Yeah, like Xavier and Cincinnati, they play in the summertime together. On the same teams a lot of times.
You want to go hoop? Here's Golden in transition. That's swatted from behind by Douglas Jr. The putback, no. Kick out Gustafson. One more to Francis for 3. Around and out. And Douglas almost out of there. Instead, it's an offensive rebound. Golden, no. Rebound finally ripped down by Douglas.
Hassan Ward scares people down low. He intimidates people. As you see, beautiful shot by Bones Hyland in transition. But Hassan Ward on the defensive end makes it so hard because he can get up so high that you change or alter your own shot.
That Hyland three makes it a 12-2 Richmond run. Golden's left alone to lay that home. Excuse me, VCU run in Richmond. Williams is spot up three, and Golden rebound. That's his fourth.
It wasn't a great possession for VCU. It was like, okay, the shot clock's hitting 15. Let's get rid of it. But, you know, Bones Hyland, you know, started slow. Didn't take a shot for the first 10 minutes, but he's been perfect from the field. He's got 6 rebounds.
Just leads the game in rebounds. There's another one. That's 7. He was gearing up to fire that pass up ahead. He winds up doing so. The 3 is short. Baldwin just couldn't pay it off. Whip it up ahead to Francis. He has a big on him, fires over top Brown Jones, and another rebound. That is 8 first-half boards and an assist up ahead on the jam. Corey Douglas, two-fisted flush, and Bones Hyland has taken over.
And now on the floor.
He's been able to speed up the tempo because he has 8 rebounds, and he's able to get the ball out quickly and get transition buckets. And that's really the kind of game they want to be in right now. And they have the momentum because they're playing, Richmond's playing at VCU's speed. And that's not, you know, what Richmond wants to do. They want to play at their own speed and slow the offense down a little bit.
Rashawn Hyland is 6'3", Steve. How does he get so many guard rebounds?
Well, he's got a long wingspan, but he's also very smart. He's got a high basketball IQ. He watches where the shots go, and you can see guys that rebound like that. The other thing is that you have to understand that Richmond is sprinting to recover because they don't want to get beaten in transition. So the 2 guards that would be around him are not guarding him or trying to box him out. They're going back the other way.
Hyland has the defensive assignment here on Gilliard. Nice pass by Golden. KO just left it short right at the mouth of the rim. Here comes Baldwin on the break. 3-on-3, strong to the rim. That is too strong. And he gets his own rebound. VCU can reset.
Coach Rhodes said he gave Ace Baldwin the keys to the program when he signed. He said he's one of the pure point guards that could go a whole game without scoring and be happy. He's a quintessential pass-first guard.
2 on the shot clock. Got to get this thing up. Ward, no. And the ricochet down to Gustafson. Yeah, Baldwin actually has taken 3 shots or less in a game this year, Steve. 11 times. His team is 8-3. He can do all the other things that help you win. That's what matters.
And you got 2 guys that know how to pass like that. And you have Bones doing it, and also Baldwin. These guys, they've known each other since they were little. They play so well together. I mean, there's no jealousy at all. Consummate teammates.
Francis missed the 3. They played AAU together, Baldwin and Hyland, when they were 9, which I didn't even know was a thing. Start them young.
It actually isn't.
Williams.
They just put AAU on anything nowadays.
Jumper off the elbow for Hyland. Rebound, weak side, and Williams finds himself at the free throw line.
By the way, at 9 years old, when a team makes it, the other team gets to go on the other side of the court and have a guy shoot the ball without guarding him. And that's kind of 9-year-old basketball.
I thought you were going to say they get to go take the orange slices.
Yeah, then they get orange slices and everybody gets a trophy.
Williams is 2 for 2 at the line. He hits the first. Matt Grace checks back in for his second run of action. VCU is incredible at the free throw line. They get there a lot. Hyland gets there a lot. And then they make them. Said it earlier, on pace to shatter a school record. 76% from the line this year as a team. They're going to best their prior number by 3 percentage points.
Now that's important when you're playing close games down the stretch here.
Good layup for Gilliard. That ends a 3-minute scoreless drought. And when you're a young team, Steve, you're going to be in a lot of close games.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've talked to Coach Rhodes. He's like, we're young, we're emotional. You know, we're going to have issues, but I love these guys, and they play so well together.
Strong drive. Williams lost it. And off a leg, it'll stay here.
Jacob Gilliard, they talk about his defense, but watch his inside hand change. He gets straight to the basket and is able to score over a guy much bigger than him. Hyland at 6'3". Gets it off quick before Ward gets over there to try to, as a second defender.
Gilliard's a guy that did declare for the NBA draft. Good spin move by Hyland. Jacob Gilliard is only 5'9", though. Steve, he'd be the shortest player in the NBA today. But he has a skill set, and defensively he has something special. Chris Mooney said he just needs the right team to utilize him the right way.
And I think the defense, they're always looking for that defensive stopper. But the good thing about Gilliard is he's a good passer, too. It's not like he's only can do one thing. He's a really good...
nice pass, swatted away from Hyland. VCU getting out and running. I mean, both of these teams share the basketball incredibly well.
I think that the best part about this game is it is an up and down battle. Both teams can run it. You see the good defense right there by Richmond. They're getting back pretty well in transition.
Backdoor to Stockard, but off his fingertips. There's about a 3-second difference here. Game clock, shot clock. Richmond started 1 for 7. It's 9 for its last 23, but it still finds itself down 8.
Now look for Gilliard or Francis to take it in. All the way to the basket. Look for Gustafson to spot up on one side.
Shot clock is at 2. There's Gustafson, and he didn't realize where the shot clock was. End of clock, end of half situation, and Richmond turns it over on downs.
That was a perfect pass and a step-in jump shot by Gustafson. It was run the right way. The defense had shifted over. And now VCU has a chance to make it a 10-point game.
All right, Sal Caresi checks in. 6'9", gives you some length here to guard any kind of lob. 3.9, you've got time to dribble a couple of times. Hyland, 2 seconds. Hyland forces a shot with a whistle. He traveled. So a turnover, and Richmond can just inbound this. Boy, that would have been a tough foul to swallow.
Well, you know, with almost 4 seconds left, like you said, you gotta have a plan and try to get it to three-quarter court or the hash mark or wherever it was, and try to get that shot to go. Just didn't look at the scoring clock.
8 points, 8 rebounds in the first half for Deshaun Hyland.
But I really believe that they're in a pretty good position. I missed some point-blank range shots inside. Grant Golden was struggling, trying to get those shots to go down. But you got Hassan Ward who's in there, and he is so intimidating around the bucket. But they have to score in the low post, because if they don't, they're not going to be able to get back and stop the transition all game long.
Richmond's a team that has 5 starters averaging double figures. Gilliard leads through the first half with 7 points. And they've got a bump out on the perimeter. Bones Hyland has those 8 points for VCU, and then Williams a tremendous first half. And Hassan Ward really showed as well. Averages 6 a game. He already has those 7.
Well, they are a tough lot. And, you know, it's interesting. Richmond is losing the fast break points, but it's not like what you think. You know, VCU only has 2 fast break points, and that's a win for the Spiders.
Foul was on Stockard. That was his second. Here's Gilliard, guarded by Baldwin. He finds Francis, who's been very quiet. Little scoop shot does drop down. Blake Francis, leading scorer for Richmond. That's his first bucket.
And it's a perfect sequence and efficient. The shot clock was down to 2 when the ball went through the hoop, and that's what Richmond would like to do.
That's a slam against the backboard. Francis missed the ball, though, on Ace Baldwin with his first bucket of the game.
They were overplaying Ace Baldwin and took their eye off him. He just went backdoor for an easy backdoor layup.
Richmond shot 34% in the first half. Francis pulls the trigger again. And the rebound down to Ward. How does a guy like Francis get going? You put a little bit on yourself here, and I don't want to say force shots because you want to play within the offense, but he's a scorer and he hasn't scored.
But you got to look at the team that they're playing against. Ace Baldwin, I know he's a freshman. We're going to call him travel on this play. But he plays great on the ball defense. He's keeping Francis in front of him. Francis has got to continue moving without the ball, and you have to have guys looking for you. But Francis is a good enough player, and there's a reason why you play 40 minutes.
He shot 1 of 4 in the first half.
A lot of people talking about how VCU doesn't trap as much as it did when Shaka was coaching, and Mike Rhodes will say we trap when we have to.
We trap enough, yeah. Burton pulls the trigger. Tyler Burton's first points. It's not quite double fist havoc that VCU ran in the Shaka Smart era, but we posed that question to Mike Rhodes and said, why not? Like, what is havoc? Havoc is us making your life miserable. We're disrupting you, however you want to define that. Williams falling down. And timeout awarded to VCU, so they will save possession. Rams lead it by 6 early on in the second half.
And they have 5 really good games, especially the last 4. And I think those 4 teams will be fighting for an NCAA berth. So they don't want to lose here and give Richmond a leg up.
It will be interesting to see what happens as far as made-up games. Shot clock expiring as the shot just hits the front of the rim. Because there are made-up games that have to still occur for several teams, including these 2. And which ones are given priority in terms of, all right, what could be good resume-building games that could help the committee down the stretch for these clubs?
Right, and the one team, URI, is the only team that has played more games than everybody. You can see a nice move by Golden inside. It's hard. I mean, I think Burnett McGlade has done a super job. They've established they're having the tournament in Richmond, which will be nice at the Siegel Center and at the Robbins Center. So making a move and trying to be leaders in the NCAA.
Hyland missing the 3, rebounded by Burton. Of course, Bernadette McGlade, the commissioner of the Atlantic 10, is on the selection committee, so that doesn't hurt. As far as trying to figure out best practices to set yourself up well. Here's Golden, fouled, unable to finish. Levi Stockard just picked up his 3rd.
And Golden's got to really finish that. It's a hard foul, but it's a foul that you have to finish through. Golden is getting good position down low on Stockard. Stockard's big and strong, but makes the first one. This one, it's a pretty good foul, but you got to try to concentrate and finish that. You talk about the A-10, Joel. The A-10, since 2007, has had a minimum of 3 teams in it each year.
Until last year.
Well, until the 18, So I think at the end of the day, this is a league that outside the Power 5 does as much to get in that tournament as any league in the country.
It was going to have the national champion had there been a tournament played last season.
Absolutely.
Any league that's going to claim that.
Well, the player of the year and a national championship, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's a 2-point game all of a sudden. Golden does a good job at the free throw line. He makes both of them, and Richmond right back in this after trailing by 8 at the break.
VCU averages over 73 points a game, and they're a little bit under that pace right now. They got to get it going in transition if they can.
Williams missing on the kick out from Hyland, and we have a foul off the rebound. And that's on Hassan Ward. It's only his first.
Really
you can look at it statistically, Steve. Hey, they averaged 73 points. They only have 34. The beginning of the game was so slow, though, that it kind of set you back a little bit.
Right.
The offense did click for VCU in the second quarter of the game.
It could have been uglier, is what you're saying.
Yeah. There's a steal. Here's that transition offense. thought about stopping and popping. Instead, Baldwin to the rim, and the layup is good.
It's exactly what you don't want if you're a Spider. You don't want live ball turnovers because you're going to get VCU out in their game, and that is running in transition. That is their offense.
It's the second transition bucket for VCU tonight. 2 of them. Francis open from 3, buries it. You don't leave a guy like Blake Francis wide open from 3. 1 point game.
That time Richmond really was aggressive against the defense, and that's what Chris Mooney wants. He goes, let's be aggressive against them and make them guard us.
Baldwin's answer, rims out. Chance now for Richmond to take the lead for the first time since 1813. Dump off KO. That's knocked out of bounds. Excuse me, that was their largest lead. It would be their first lead since 7:13 to go in the first.
VCU getting it out in transition. Well, now Nevada is on a pause right now. Coach Rice, Coach Smith, I mean, they got their teams going and they want to get in this tournament. I mean, you don't want to stay away from the NCAA tournament twice in 2 years, and that would happen if you don't make it because of last year's COVID.
Nathan KO's at the free throw line. And he knocks in both. So Richmond takes the lead for the first time since the 7-minute mark in the first half. And the Spiders have come all the way back. They have missed 1 shot here in the second half, 4 for their first 5.
I think their half-court defense has been stellar. Good ball movement. They got a lot of deflections in the half-court. VCU is struggling to get, VCU is struggling to get anything going in sequence and rotation.
If you force VCU to play in the half court, that's your win. VCU wants to get out and play 94-foot offense.
Exactly. And right now they have 4 fast break points.
That's a strong take, though, and a foul. And VCU headed to the free throw line. Ace Baldwin. He's usually the facilitator, but Steve, he needs to put it on his shoulders, and he does.
Well, he gets into the paint. It just goes up. I think that Grace forgot that he's left-handed. Went over towards his right hand. Watch Baldwin take it to the other hand. Grace was slow on the trigger. That's not a guy that he guards a lot, so he had no idea what hand was his natural hand.
And the 6'9" guy doesn't usually have to account for the point guard.
No.
But he slides over because Baldwin beat his man. Well, he's going to be good, too. Ace Baldwin's a freshman. And there's a turnover for Richmond, but it's a dead ball 1, so VCU can't get out and run.
And that's important. Coach Mooney said, we're going to live with our turnovers. We got to value the ball. But VCU forces 18 turnovers. But we just don't want to have the live ball turnovers because they lead the buckets. They've been able to control that here this evening.
Although you could hear the microphones pick up Mike Rhodes yelling at his guys, hey, move up a little bit so you can steal that.
Right.
He's not happy with a turnover because he looks at it as a missed opportunity. It could have been a turnover plus what?
And right now, with their half-court offense, they need something, a couple run-outs to get that momentum back.
3 for 7 to start the second half for VCU. There's the lob down to Hyland, and Bones finishes with the right.
Boy, that's just a smart play. That's knowing your teammates. As soon as they saw Hyland single covered and had a mismatch, little back door, threw it over for the easy 2.
It's his first bucket of the second half. Here's Golden, rolls around and out. It's been a tough night for Golden. He's now 2 for 8, and VCU with tempo.
It's a guy that doesn't miss many shots and shoots at 58%, but he's not been able to finish at the rim. A lot of it's because of the defensive rim protectors of VCU.
Hyland a deep 3. Rebound, Williams. Williams caught in the corner, though, and bailed out by Baldwin at midcourt.
Francis is face guarding Hyland down the right corner.
And he steals it away from Hyland as soon as he pops. There's Francis on the leak out. Nice reverse under the rim.
Went to the other side to use the rim as a pick. It's a smart play. Great anticipation.
Well, Hyland defended that well. But what else are you going to do? Here's Gilliard now on Hyland. Inside Douglas, guarded by Golden, blocked. Loose ball stays with VCU. 5 though to shoot. Hyland's got to move. 3 to shoot. Fires the 3. Bricks the 3. And here comes Richmond on the leak out. It's Gilliard for the layup. Tied at 41.
Well, that burns you when VCU sends everybody to the boards on that long rebound. It was like an outlet pass. Easy bucket for the Spiders to knock this game at 41.
VCU is finding its rhythm again as the half progresses. Williams misses the take. Similar to the way the first half played out. 3 in transit. Francis missed. Loose ball. Foul. Douglas and KO got tied up. First on KO.
Well, Richmond able to play a little defense, turn to the tables as Francis anticipates, uses the backboard and the rim as a pick. And then another fast break, a long rebound. It's like an outlet pass. The 2 guards we talked about, Francis and Gilliard, stepping up. You asked how Blake Francis was going to get in the game offensively. I think he answered the bell.
Well, let your defense be your guide.
Yeah.
Give yourself some easy points. And a whistle away from the ball.
I'm going to get Grace down low, or is that Gilliard?
Foul on Richmond.
The UK game, obviously, that was a little crazy. They're 6-13 now. They were number 10 in the country back then, but here's the upcoming schedule. It doesn't get easy for either one of these teams. I mean, got to play VCU again. Duquesne, always tough, and they haven't played many games. But it's a gauntlet here this year in the A-10.
The Kentucky win was notable because it just turned heads. That ball dribbles out of bounds and a careless turnover for VCU. It was one of those, Steve, establishing victories. When you beat a team like that in Rupp Arena, all of a sudden, people look at Chris Mooney, and besides saying we want to get the clear mask, because that thing took off after that, they said Richmond is for real.
Well, and I live in Ohio, right across, the border from Kentucky, and it got everybody's attention, I'll tell you that.
Francis with the strong take. Richmond is going nowhere.
But you called out. You put an APB out for him to get some points, and he's been able to do it here in the second half. He's doing it offensively, and he's doing it defensively, and he just went quick around Bones Hyland. A little Olay on the drive by Williams.
With the free throw. That's now 10 points, all in the second half for Blake Francis. He's a grad student, transfer from Wagner. He is 23 years old. He has already said he will not be coming back for his extra year of eligibility because of the COVID-19 season. Nice feed down to Ward. Unable to finish. He does get the second effort. But Francis is everything that VCU will eventually become. He is that crafty, veteran, been around the block in more ways than one. He's 23 years old. He's seen a lot of basketball.
Well, and it's interesting because you watch how he plays, and coming in as a grad transfer, you got to get used to the style. It's not for everybody. But this is a Richmond team that's averaging almost 77 points a game, so it's not like they don't put it up.
5 seconds to shoot. Gilliard's got to move. Deep 3, high arc, caught iron. Well, that would have been awesome.
Those are the shots you like to shoot. You want to have that chance because there's no pressure. If you make it, it's a great shot. If you miss it, hey, you were rushing because you had to get it off quick enough.
Gustafson called for his 3rd foul. He'll check out. Brown Jones played a good first half. He'll check back in for VCU. Sends Williams to the bench. VCU with Ward. Turn around and hit it. Hassan Ward. Boy, he is so lanky, and he is still so young in the basketball sense. He's from Barbados. Didn't really play basketball until he came to the United States in high school late in the game. Lived with his aunt in Massachusetts. He has so much to learn and has so much potential. Good movement to Gilliard for 3. And the rebound down to Watkins. Nice look ahead. VCU out in transit, and Bones Hyland scores the way the Rams like to.
Nobody sprinting to recover and getting in transition. That's just a great pass. That's what they do. Beautiful pass, no dribbles. Get it out. Hyland for an easy 2 at the other end.
VCU is able to recover. It's up by 3, even though Richmond keeps punching back to the free throw line for Nathan Kao.
And usually it's Hyland that gets the ball out off the rebound, but this time it's a beautiful pass down court by Watkins. And Hyland filling the lane. I mean, that is quick. That's what I thought they could have done at the end of the half when they had 3.9 seconds left. Because when they get it moving and they get downhill, they are quick.
Kao's a 71% free throw shooter. He misses the first. Richmond's now 8 of 11 at the line tonight. Back to a 2-point game. Largest lead tonight is 8 points. That belonged to VCU in the first half. Richmond by as many as 5.
VCU trying to get Hassan Ward behind the defense.
Use him for the pick and roll. Frees up Brown Jones right to the rim. Brown Jones, that seemed almost easy.
Well, and Golden couldn't come over. I mean, when you got a guy like Hassan Ward who's so athletic down there and he's got a quick jump, you can't help off him. And that was an easy 2, getting straight to the bucket.
Well, we've already seen Brown Jones' passing ability. There's Kao, and Brown Jones hit for the foul. Mikel Brown Jones had a phenomenal no-look assist in the first half. Those nuggets stick in your brain, so I'm not going to help off to go cover.
Yeah, and what does also stick in your brain is that Hassan Ward is going to dunk on you. And if you let him get behind the defense, he may miss it. Actually, he's better sometimes when he creates his own with a back-end situation, but he is heads and shoulders above everybody when he finishes at the rim. And you're right, he's going to be a darn good player.
Only a sophomore. Kao is a senior. He hits both free throws. 2-point game again. These are offenses 3 and 4 in the Atlantic 10. Both averaging in the mid-70s.
Number 1, Blake Francis, whistles for the blocking foul. That's
Blake Francis is called for a block.
Team foul number 5 on Richmond.
It's his second. He didn't like this. What say you?
You know what? He was still moving, and they have to call it when you're still moving. It was a great idea. Still moving.
So jump the passing lane.
Well, and you know what Coach Mooney said? He goes, I've missed a quarter of his steals. He anticipates so well. I don't know how he does it.
Nice slink to the bucket, and a blocking foul will put Ace Baldwin at the line. And if your coach is missing a quarter of your steals, you know the guy with the ball is caught off guard just by turning his head.
Well, I think that it's a great compliment to Gilliard, you know, that he has such good anticipation skills, his basketball IQ, and as Coach Mooney and Coach Rhodes both said, we recruit guys that fit in our program. And they have to have a high basketball IQ.
Tonight at 11 Eastern, you yourself can get a high basketball IQ. It's Inside College Basketball. They'll talk you through hoops and the road to the Final Four. That is right here on CBS Sports Network.
It's a good camera angle.
Lead and a timeout called. Richmond couldn't get it in.
It's a good camera angle because you can see it in your living room. How VCU was right in their face. A little intimidating.
Averaged 18 points per game a season ago. That was 4th in the Atlantic 10. I don't want to say he flies under the radar, but like in the backcourt, Jacob Gilliard gets all of the headlines because he's so good defensively. Blake Francis, just as critical to what this Richmond team does.
Yeah, he's a great passer. He leads this team, and it's nice to have both of those guards that can bring the ball up, especially in a game like this where there's full court pressure. And Francis has really had to pick his spots to try to get to the basket.
Richmond into its offense now. Down by 4, a whistle. Count the bucket. Nathan Kao. That's a guy that went 10 for 10 from the floor in a game this season. He can finish through contact.
And he went up against Hassan Ward. You'll see Hassan Ward looming. He goes up and over. I love how he used the glass. Watch him go over his left shoulder. Wards off the physicality by VCU.
And he converts the three-point play. That's 11 for KO. Steve, you ever go 10 for 10 in a game?
Maybe on my nine-year-old AAU team. But no, I don't think I ever did.
That's how KO began the season.
I don't remember those days.
As you get older, those days get better, though, right?
Yeah.
Backdoor cut. There's Hyland.
How about VCU pull the back door out against Richmond? Richmond does a super job using the backboard. Now VCU's doing it.
Time KO got blocked. Richmond's not going, VCU's not going anywhere. Francis, though, with the pocket pick and to the rim. It's a one-point game. Richmond keeps punching back, but VCU is not succumbing. And for a young team, and Mike Rhodes has said they can be emotional at times, and that can lead you to making mistakes because of the youth. They have found answers time and again here in the second half.
Well, you have to be impressed with Richmond, sticking to their game plan, eliminating fast break points.
Baseline jam for Jameer Watkins. Somebody get in the way.
Yeah, there's no weak side help. Everybody was spread out.
Francis, good drive and kick. 3 in the corner, missed. And the rebound to Corey Douglas Jr. Another big advance pass, where you can sense Hyland wanted to put up the 3. It'll stay here.
VCU is able to get around the defender, and you see Hassan Ward boxing out KO. That could have been called a foul. I mean, holding him like that and a moving screen, but they don't call it. Watkins gets up and flushes it.
VCU is shooting over 50% here in the second half. Only problem, Richmond shooting almost 60. Offense, all the rage, and Watkins on the board after the break. His first second half bucket. Second, he just dunked. Short memory. 3 to answer, Francis missed long.
That's back-to-back threes for Richmond. I think they need to continue getting the ball in on dribble, drive, or pass. Try to get the ball to Grace on the low block. Get KU involved in the game offensively.
Foul as Hyland put it on the deck. That's Francis.
That's his 5th personal. Team foul number 7 on the Spiders.
And that's 4 now on Blake Francis. So with 5:42 remaining, he'll check out. And Steve, at what point do you put him in and just say, you know what, give us what you got?
I think when you get out under 5 minutes, this guy's our leader. He's been in your program for a long time. You need him out there. He's the guy that's kept you close here in the second half. You just tell him he's an old enough guy. Get back in there. Take a break. And Gilliard and Francis need to lead this team.
Hyland hit the first and the second. Bones Hyland now at 16 points. That leads all scorers.
After a really slow start.
Yeah, VCU has stretched the lead out once more.
And I think Richmond has to continue going inside. The outside jump shot has not been good to them here the last 2 or 3 possessions.
And that's a tough 2 by Burton. Seven-point difference, largest lead, 8 for VCU, so they can take their largest advantage with a bucket here.
Good news for, as you see, an offensive foul.
Well, if that's Stockard, it's 4 on him.
What I was going to say is a good news for Richmond is VCU is not slowing up the pace. So, yeah, there's 5 minutes left, but VCU is not going to take the air out of the ball. They're going to continue running, and that gives you opportunities.
And it looked like Francis was about to go check back in, and Chris Mooney called him back. So that would have been a 30-second breather.
He's calling him back now, though.
Yeah, this is a yo-yo. Never mind, go back in the game, son.
That might have been a Chris Mooney saying, I'll make that decision.
And there's Steve, there's a school of thought there. He has one foul to give. Where is he more useful to you? On the bench doing nothing, or in the game for as long as he can go before he fouls out?
Right, and I think that you don't want VCU to push that lead up to double digits, but Francis is smart enough. He'll be able to stay out of foul trouble, but he's got to watch it when he drives, because they're going to try to take the charge.
Golden fighting for positioning. He's 2 for 8 tonight. One of the best field goal percentage guys in the country is blocked. Watkins is growing up in front of your eyes.
That's a smart defense. He saw Grant Golden backing down and then comes from behind and tips it away. That was also good body defense by Douglas, VCU.
And then Golden is fouled on the entry, and Corey Douglas is whistled.
Personal foul is charged to number 13, Corey Douglas. That is his first. Team foul number 10 on the Rams.
Sends Richmond into the double bonus, though. So 2 free throws forthcoming here for Grant Golden. Also a guy that declared for the draft last year, by the way. Always planned on coming back unless he learned something amazing. But trying to take advantage of the process to better himself as a player as Burton returns.
Golden missing his first free throw, 4 for 5 on the evening. He's a good free throw shooter, too.
Missed them both. You saw Francis go out. It's a 6-0 run for VCU with those 7 for 7 field goals. Richmond hasn't scored in 2 minutes, allowing the lead to stretch. Williams lost it. Ball's got to move for Richmond. Golden got it back. Golden blocked at the mouth. KO in traffic, and a block called on Williams.
Looked like they got their legs tied up, but I like his KO. KO's a better match in this game down low. You'll see Golden is struggling against the quicker VCU defenders. KO goes in and gets his legs tangled up.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate game of twisting. And KO hits the first.
I'm really impressed with Nathan KO. I mean, he's physical, he's strong, he's athletic, and he can score.
Speaks French.
Parlez-vous.
He's from Montreal. 5-point game.
VCU has to take care of the basketball. They cannot turn it over. They already have 15 turnovers, and they want to keep it there.
And that ball, speaking of turnovers, you could read it on Watkins' face as the ball is just sailing out of bounds.
Hey, when you get that turnover, and Richmond struggled the last 2 times down the court, they need to finish.
When these teams have gotten shots, they've gotten points. Richmond in the second half, 45%, VCU 55%, and both teams are getting in and around the rim. There has been 1 3 made since halftime. Belongs to Blake Francis. He has the headband on your screen. He's also playing with 4 fouls right now for Richmond, their leading scorer.
And I think it's going to be the Gilliard and Francis show for Richmond. They got to get guys open, and they also have to make shots.
Throw it down low. Golden, nice touch pass. Works back out to Burton on the wing. And the rebound falls down to VCU. Advance pass Hyland. Cherry picking. Watkins. The vision down court, Steve, all night long.
And it's a beautiful pass. I mean, that's Aaron Rodgers-like. Just laser focused, but I thought that last play, the Golden should have taken that strong to the basket. Instead, he passed it in the paint.
KO answers with a little touch floater.
KO's got to get more touches. I mean, this is a kid that can score, and they have to make sure they utilize him on the inside.
Take the screen down the left of the lane.
And that's it for Francis.
And that is the 5th. Francis is done. So Richmond will have to look elsewhere. It does have depth and options. But Francis is disqualified, and he takes his 17 points per game with him to the bench.
It's tough. They're down a leader.
That's, I think, almost the biggest thing. Like, all 5 starters average in double figures, or did they just change that foul to Gilliard? They just, okay, so they announce it now on Gilliard in the arena. And that's, I think, why Francis had that look on his face as if to say, I'm not done. All right, so that's a swing. Gilliard now has 2 fouls.
Well, Richmond has to make sure they get back in transition. They cannot allow VCU to get the ball out off the glass and try to get behind the defense.
7-point lead for VCU. Largest of the game is 8. KO. Golden can shoot 3s. Instead, he finds Burton on the block. He's rejected. And it goes to VCU. The Rams starting to stand tall. Turn away the Richmond effort.
They intimidate you. There's a pump fake that's just really good defense by Douglas. It's the back end of the backboard, and it's going to be VCU ball. VCU is an elite defensive team. You know, I think that Richmond's a good defensive team. VCU's elite, and they're always in your face.
And they're shot blockers, more so than they've ever been in the past. Havoc has been about pressure and trapping. This group blocks shots, 9th in the country.
And they intimidate you. I think Golden is waiting for that block because they blocked him in the beginning.
Foul on the floor called against Richmond. So discount that bucket. Nathan KO with his 2nd.
The last couple times down the court for Richmond, Golden has passed up open shots. It was a 3-point jump shot and also a shot in the paint that he threw to another guy who was closer to the basket. But I think that what I want to see out of Golden is to shoot it. I mean, he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good scorer. He's got to get it out of his head, and he's got to take his shot when he's open.
Williams missed a big front end of a 1-and-1 there, though. 3 in the corner. Francis. Steve, how do you fight that boogeyman when you anticipate blocks are coming on the block and in the corner?
You knew this, Richmond Spiders knew this as soon as they saw the date this game was being played on. Because this is what VCU does. Now, the date changed 4 or 5 times, but the intimidation doesn't change. That's Havoc right there.
Nice cut, Hyland. That could be the finisher for VCU. The Rams lead by a game-high 9.
Well, just talked about with Mike Rhodes how this team is young and immature and emotional. I tell you, they are playing hard.
Rebound down to Gustafson. You forgot one of the words, though, he used to describe his team, and that was competitive. And that's what's kicked in down the stretch. Rebound down to Baldwin. They will not be denied. Ward, the lead grows. 11 for VCU. Timeout, Richmond. It was an 8-point lead at the break for VCU. Richmond then took the lead midway through the second half, and VCU stepped on the gas. Steve, this young, emotional, but competitive team dug down to the competitive juices. They run away here late.
Yeah, and what they've done is they've been able to get behind the defense in the half court. Got some dunks, but they've also been able to get a couple turnovers and fast break buckets. They only have 8 on the game, but it's really in the Spiders' heads that this is what VCU wants to do.
Francis trying to get it all back at once. And a rebound foul. Gustafson reached in. Probably raked the face of Ace Baldwin. That's his 4th. This VCU team is going to be so good. Ace Baldwin is a freshman. Bones Hyland is a sophomore. Hassan Ward is a sophomore. And they're the best team in the Atlantic 10.
Well, and when you have a guy like Ace Baldwin on your team, and Bones Hyland, I mean, both of those guys, it's easy to recruit. I mean, they're not selfish. They want to give the ball up, and they love playing hard. So that is your recruiting brochure right there, Bones Hyland and Ace Baldwin.
VCU has 2 seniors in its rotation. I don't know the status of Corey Douglas. Here's Francis, denied. And that ball rolls out. Francis pulled it back. We do know that Levi Stockard will be back next year. He told Mike Rhodes last week, hey, can I talk to you? I'd like to use my additional COVID year. So what you see is what you're going to get this year and next for VCU.
Well, that was important. Mike Rhodes said he gave him a big hug. He was so excited. You know, it's nice to have some positive stuff in this crazy year.
The Rams looking for Ward. He missed the bucket. It would have been 11 consecutive makes to end the game for VCU. And a turnover is fitting. That's the way to end it. We do have a tie-up and a held ball. The arrow will stay here.
Possession to VCU.
These teams did split last year. This is the Capital City Classic. The black and blue classic, if you go back before 2014. These 2 teams know each other. They're going to play again. And it's going to be just as good the second time around.
Well, in this game, you know, Coach Mooney said, we got to take care of the ball. We got to, you know, strategize against Hyland. Hyland had his 20 points, but I think it was the defense for the Rams that was the most important thing in this win.
VCU picks up its 9th win of the season in conference. It goes to 9-2, a 3-game lead in the win column over Davidson, 1 game over Bonaventure, although it just beat the Bonnies. Split with St. Bonaventure this season. VCU led by 8 at the half. Wound up making it really interesting. Richmond takes the lead as we go midway through the second half. Mike Rhodes joins us now. Coach, your team was able to push back, and we talked coming into this game about the emotion and the youth and sometimes the immaturity that comes with that. But you also said there's a competitive nature to this team.
Yeah,
How much did that kick in?
You saw it all today, didn't you? You saw it all today. But you know what? We just play hard, right? We're a young group that we're very competitive, which I love. We're competitive in practice. It carries over to games, and I think we have a bunch of guys that play hard. And if you don't play hard, you sort of stand out. And so, I mean, that's just sort of our marking around here. And I'm really proud of the guys. You know, like I said, we didn't have 2 great practices the last 2 days. We have a couple of bumps and bruises. And I just told the guys, like, it's no excuses. You know, you're at this time of the year. You made games very important. You got to find a way. And I said, play really hard and just play for each other and then give yourself a chance to win. And you know, that's sort of been our formula all year long. And we have a lot of guys that can contribute, and you saw that today.
Mike, thanks. Congratulations. Always fun watching you guys play. Enjoy the victory. I know you got to see them again, so enjoy it for now.
Good. And go Utah State.
Mike, thank you. Mike Rhodes,
thank you.
Not the way that VCU could force turnovers, but the way that it forced Richmond out of its comfort zone.
Well, Hassan Ward is very talented, athletic, and a quick leaper. He'll block anybody's shot, and he can block it when he's 2 men away. There was only 7 blocked shots in this game for VCU, but there was a lot of intimidating
That's a lot of blocks.
Defense. Yeah, but they went every time the ball went up in the air. I mean, you saw Hassan Ward with his hands up and jumping around there, and it's very intimidating.
So VCU pulls out the victory. 12 points is the final margin.